fitness journey. Before starting CrossFit, I think that looking back, I can really think of when I was a teenager, like anywhere from like 13 or 14, always an avid dancer, an athlete. So kind of weighing that like 100-pound size 2, like very skinny. Never thought that I had to do any sort of work because I was always running and doing sports and dancing. I just had that like, natural, like small frame, lean frame. And, unbeknownst to me, that once you stop moving and go off to college and don't do anything after that, that's when all the weight started gaining. So throughout my college years and then even after college, I probably put on anywhere from like 15 to 20 pounds and really just stopped moving. And it got away from me so fast that I didn't even realize it until it was kind of like brought to the attention, or I saw myself in a picture, or that was when I really realized I needed to start getting back down to where I felt good and back to confident in my skin, because all these years I felt so great in clothes. I had this confidence. I felt just my best self. And then during those times, I remember wearing big baggy clothes, covering myself with sweatshirts. Couldn't believe that I had to start buying up like higher sizes and bigger sizes. So, I started at a gym it was a small gym, and I remember just not knowing what to do and kind of just finding myself being on the elliptical or on the treadmill for 40 minutes and not seeing any results. So then it was, all right, well, we got a diet. So I am your typical yo-yo dieter. It was the shakes and Weight Watchers and the Special K diet, Special K cereal diet, and all these like crazy things that I put myself through. Lost weight, gained weight, all that stuff. So really, when I hit a certain milestone in my life, was actually getting married at that point, wanted to look my best and feel my best on that day. So really started dialing in the nutrition part of it, and was very serious with fitness, and had a friend that suggested CrossFit, and that proverbial like CrossFit is crazy, I could never do that. I'm definitely not fit enough to do that, I'm not strong enough to do that. And that was when I first found that, and it really started, my body started changing. I was able to come into a place where there was a professional coach that was able to lead me to a place that I was guided in a safe environment. And I finally got to see the changes that I wanted to see, where before I felt like I worked so hard. I was going 3 days a week, 4 days a week, 5 days a week. I was doing all these diets and nothing was happening, or nothing was really happening the way that I wanted them to happen. So that was like the first time, and I remember about like 2 or 3 months in, probably a month before I was gonna get married, I went up to Sean and said, oh my God, my dress doesn't even fit me anymore. Like that was a problem. So that's the journey. The journey felt like all those years I didn't have to do anything, to the point that I was kind of let myself go, and then to the point now where my relationship with fitness is my it's like so habitual now. So it's, if I don't work out a day or 2 days or even a week, it doesn't feel like part of my structure anymore. So it is a stress reliever. It is something that makes me feel so strong. I finally at a point where I love the way I feel in my skin. I love the way how strong I feel, and I love now how much I get to inspire other people, like my mom, my dad, some friends, my boyfriend's coworkers. So that's the fitness journey of Gail.
Go slide over.
Yeah, come on over.
So life before fitness. I think my entire life has had fitness in some aspect. I had to have my mother drag out the 5-year-old photo of me in jeans playing pickup soccer. So I've always played sports, been active. both my parents were very inspirational in terms of fitness. My dad, I mean, if you've ever met my dad, Abby knows my dad very, very well. Like very fit guy, big guy. Always looked up to him, and I think that was my start of fitness. But kind of like throughout my younger years and even like my early 20s, didn't really have a ton of confidence, and sports and fitness were a place maybe find a little bit of that, but I couldn't quite find myself there just yet. So I dabbled in some sports growing up, but also a little bit of bodybuilding in like my early 20s, until I found this place. A friend brought me here, and I never fill each other up. Friend brought me here, and this kind of just clicked. And we were at the old spot. Kind of found a place where I felt like I belonged more. It was fun. The variety was there every day. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, it just felt like kind of like home. Where I could kind of go to and enjoy myself and feel progress happening as these things were going on. But fitness has always kind of been part of my life, but it became more of my life as I started coming here more. I feel like probably the structure and the accountability that maybe I was lacking in other areas of my life were found here. They've helped me solidify more things in my everyday life, not only in the gym with my fitness, but relationships, work, things like that. Relationship now, I mean, it's probably a pillar of my life. I couldn't imagine my life without it, just because like being active and having fitness. Let's sneak on over. I mean, it's just giving me the confidence that maybe I didn't have in my earlier years, in my teens, my early 20s, and it's really just allowed me to become a better version of myself. And Peter, take it away.
Take it away. So my story of how I got into fitness. I'm 22, so starting 6 years ago, or maybe 7 years ago, when I was probably like all throughout middle school, I was always that overweight kid who didn't have any self-confidence and just never felt comfortable in their own skin. So going into maybe 8th grade, when I first started playing sports, and my stepmom actually kind of drugged me into that. I didn't even want to play in the first place because I didn't think that I'd be athletic enough, this, that, the other thing. Just all these excuses that I had for myself. But the minute that I started playing football is when I realized that like I wanted to change the way I felt about myself. So starting then is when I started to work out and like trying to change how I saw myself as the overweight kid. And even to the point where probably our sophomore year of high school, I joined the wrestling team with the sole reason not to win any matches, just so that I would go there and do the intense wrestling workouts so I would lose weight. I went 0-13, didn't win a single match, but I lost like 20, 30 pounds, and I was
Success.
Yeah, I was the only kid that got the award for like showing up to every single practice. So the dedication was there, but yeah, anyway, I did that only for the getting into better self-confidence from that. From there, I started working out every day, became probably my favorite hobby. Me and my friend would like go find these workouts online, and we would always do them together. That's like the main thing we talked about together. We would go to the high school, the football field after school. We would use all the equipment they had, like the sleds, the tires, and even like after I was done with my high school job, where I would work an 8-9 hour shift, I would go at like 10 p.m. or 11 p.m. and I go run on the treadmill, or I run on the track, just because that was like the main drive that I had, was to shed all the extra weight that I had. I then went to high school, or went to college. I really did not like what I was doing. Originally, I went for criminal justice, and I really did not like the school. So I figured, what could be an out for me? And I thought back, like, what do I really love to do? And I thought, I love fitness. So then I realized, why don't I leave this school that I'm going to, transfer to a different college? So then for the next 3.5 years, I studied fitness development so that I could take my one passion that I had really grown for in the past many years and use that for my fuel for like my career. So I just recently graduated. I had to do an internship to fully graduate with my bachelor's. So I ended up here, Railroad CrossFit, where I did that 12-week internship with everybody. And now my relationship with fitness is that I'm starting my amazing new career with all these wonderful people. And I think I am 5 weeks in being hired, and I would never change anything the way it is. Sean, take it away.
These stories are so cool. My life before fitness, I began fitness consistently at in my late teenage years, 17, 18. So life before that was iced tea, pretzel rods, no fitness, and a really insecure, not confident human being. And that affected a lot of growing up. It affected a lot of the things that it limited me in doing, and that obviously did not feel good. And I felt, I just didn't feel comfortable in who I was. And Nolan, you guys see Nolan's big frame. I would see guys in high school who naturally looked like this, and I was a string bean, and that was actually a joke nickname that some of my close friends had for me. I was like, how is that even possible? And I even had the misconception that if I did some bicep curls over like a week off of school that I would magically gain muscles. So I started with nothing and from a low place mentally. And that I didn't ever think I would like exercising, because I remember there were times I tried running and did not enjoy that, didn't enjoy how that felt. And it wasn't until I had this friend of mine who kind of took me under his wing. He had an amazing, he was an amazing, and still is, human being, but also he had this incredible physique, and he was so in tune with the discipline of exercising, and he just seemed like he had all these attributes that I just admired. And he gave me one of the greatest gifts that I feel now as a coach I give to other people, is he took me in without judgment, and he taught me how to exercise safely, how to feel good about myself. He educated me on why certain things were sore and how to eat better to actually get results. And this went on for maybe the last 2 years or so of high school, and then kind of some time before I left for the military. And I'll forever be grateful for him, and we're still friends to this day. So that was like my origins of life before fitness, and I think we can all relate to those, some of those levels that we go through. And then now it's this thing that we give this gift back to other people, and my relationship now with fitness is a part of my daily life where I feel extremely confident in who I am, how I look. I'm proud of who I am, my body, what I'm capable of doing, what I know my body can do, my health, and then taking those gifts and then giving them back in a contribution aspect in terms of other people who come in with similar self-limiting stories at any age, whether that's early 20s all the way up to their late 60s or 70s, and changing the story for them so they can too feel good in their skin. And I think hearing everyone's story and then kind of putting a loop to it is like there's similarity in all of that for all of us. So that's our life before fitness.